Hello again, everyone. This is Armando, and I am starting a new build. As I usually do when I'm building a large, complicated model, such as a refit, which as you know, I've already started. I like to do a concurrent build, usually a figure or something simpler, so I can switch back and forth in case one build is missing parts, so I don't have to wait twiddling my thumbs, not doing anything. And also to change it up if I get frustrated with one build and I decide to go to another one. Search through my stash, and this is the I guess it's a repop or not repop, recast vinyl kit of the facehugger from Alien. It's a vinyl kit, and it's 1:1 size, and I've already started trimming some of the flash. It's a pretty detailed model, actually pretty cool, but some parts are kind of ill-fitting. Let me show you some of the parts that I've already trimmed flash off. This is one of the digits, and this is how it looks before you trim it. This is after. I'm still going to have to do some more sanding and trimming there, but that should fit all right. The digits go in here. This had a lot of flash coming off of here, a big sheet which I cut out. There's still edges that you can see there, and those are going to have to be trimmed some more. This is the main part with the, for lack of a better word, the vagina-like molding, I guess. This is the portion of flash that I trimmed off of there. There's still edges that need to be trimmed in order to make it fit better. And these are the portions of the tail, some of which I've already trimmed flash off. This is the last portion. I still haven't trimmed that off. Now, some of the areas fit well, others don't fit so well. The digits do tend to go in well into that part. I've already dry fitted them. But the tail, and especially these two portions which are supposed to go like this, they don't fit very well. Now, from what I've read about vinyl kits, you can heat them up a little bit, either with dipping them in hot water or using a blow dryer to soften them up and make them fit better. I'll experiment with that. I certainly don't want to ruin it. But other than that, it seems like a fairly simple kit to build. Now, painting it is another matter. I've been looking at reference pictures. This is the one that they provide. It doesn't give me a lot of detail. The color is like a tan color with details along the ridges and the digits, and also in the, again, for lack of a better word, the genitalia of the face hugger there. That area is supposed to be more pinkish slash mucosa style. So I'm going to have to research my painting and try and make it as natural as possible. I do have a couple of websites that I can refer to as far as coating these things, vinyl kits, and giving them a good primering before you add any other paint so they don't penetrate into the vinyl. But I thought this would be a nice, unusual kit. It's very long once you assemble it, as you can tell. Being that it's life-size, really. So it should be a nice showpiece to hang from the roof or put on a wall to scare people when they walk into my office. So anyway, that's the kit, and I'll be updating you on the build as it progresses. Talk to you later. Alright guys, I'm back, and I have put this thing together, and I've done a few things. Let me just tell you what they are. I'll start off by saying that the fit is not very good, but the actual putting together of the model was pretty quick. It took me basically one night. It's just a few parts that need to go together. The worst fitting part, of course, is this area over here, which, as you can see, has some very large gaps. No matter what I did, I could not get it to fit just right. There, and also here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get some air drying modeling clay over at Michael's that is soft and sculptable, and I'm going to fill those gaps in with that so I can add the texture that will simulate the surrounding tissues around it. so as to eliminate that if I can, or attenuate it as much as I can. I'll work here as well and here because vinyl doesn't really sand very well, but for the most part it looks pretty good. The digits look very nice, very realistic, and the tail. I had a mishap after I put it together. This joint came apart, and I detail it on my build thread at SFMA, Sci-Fi Model Action. I used a piece of sprue as a truss, a buttress on the inside. I glued it in here. It was a T-shaped piece of sprue, made a hole and glued it in here as well to reinforce it. And I also took this apart slightly, and using the heat gun I heated it up to soften it so I could get it to fit a little better, and it worked because there was too much of a step there. Now it looks almost normal. So the thing is put together now. The next step will be, as I said, filling in the gaps and sculpting them to look natural, and then I'll start the paint job. I've been experimenting with some of the primers. Since I don't have any experience painting vinyl, I know you have to be careful that you don't melt it. Sometimes the lacquer based stuff can do damage to it. Here's an extra piece of flash, and this portion here is the Tamiya metal and plastic surface primer. This one right here. And this part here is the TransStar, which I decided to test, even though Boyd had mentioned that it was lacquer based, so it might damage the plastic, but I figured, well, it's a piece of flash, I'll give it a shot and see. So far though, doesn't seem to have done anything to it, and I sprayed it a little while ago. We'll see. Maybe it isn't lacquer based and Boyd is thinking of something else, or maybe it is and it's not affecting this vinyl, who knows. But either way, it seems to be doing alright. If tomorrow I don't see any change, I may stick with a TransStar, which I have more experience with. It dries faster, because this stuff tends to take on a liquid, and I had some bubbling. But we'll see. I'll do that part tomorrow while I wait for my boards for my refit, which are have been ordered and are on their way. So I'll get back at you when I get some more done. Talk to you later. Okay, I'm back, and I have completed the filling of the gaps with the modeling clay. Let me show you, let me show you the modeling clay first, because this stuff is pretty good. I got this at Michael's. They have a huge selection of different modeling clays, all different types and multiple brands. There were a couple of varieties that are what they call air dry. In other words, after you apply it and you leave it out, it'll dry within 24 hours. It'll be hard, it doesn't affect the plastic. I like this one because it had more consistency and it was like a block. There was another one that was a little softer. They also have plenty of varieties that are baked in an oven afterwards, and they had some that are powdered and you add water and solidify them, but this seemed the simplest. I've got it in a plastic sealing bag because I've already opened it, obviously. It has the consistency of a creamy cheese, basically. You just slice off a piece, and what I did was I rolled up the piece as a little worm, basically, and I stuck it in the gap, which as you'll recall I showed you in my previous video. And then I pressed it in. You can see right there, the light is making this artificially orange, but it's not orange. I'll just put it under the light a little better. Well, maybe I'll go to the white light so you can see a little better. Yeah. You can see it right there if you get close. Basically you press it in, you taper it into the edges, and then you sculpt features that look like the surrounding area. I filled in the large gap that way. I also filled in a smaller gap over here and a side gap here between the digit and the breathing apparatus of the creature all the way around to the other side. Then I took the clay and I filled in the ridge that was a seam there as well and made it seem like part of the features of the surface of the creature. Did the same on this area as well, and I'm pretty pleased with the result. After it dries tomorrow, the next step will be primering it, and then I'll begin with the painting. I'll mix up a batch of a color that approximates that tannish color that's the base of this creature, and then add accents and other things to the digits and fingernails and the inside here, so that it looks like the creature in the movie. Should be fun. I used the clay here also in this area. There was a seam there, and then I sculpted the ridge again. I'm beginning to think this clay is ideal for these large gaps, and it may even work well for ship models as well. So that's my progress on the facehugger, and I'll keep you apprised. Talk to you later. Hey guys, Armando here again, and I'm back with my facehugger build. I've laid down the base color, which I settled on a beige slash tan like color. To create this color, I used a mixture of several paints from facehugger, beginning with white as the original, the base color, and then adding yellow and some maroon, which has some red in it, as well as at times a drop of red here and there to come up with this, which is basically a desert beige, which was my take on the base color of the model. Now I'm gonna come up with some color for the internal mouth genitalia area, and in keeping with the versions that I've seen in the movies, I'm going to try and make it more of a plum-like color. That's still the primer there. A plum-like color, maybe pinkish, but more plum-like. And once I paint that, I'm going to begin the highlighting of the model. I was thinking of using some of the oil Aptalung modeling oils to try and bring out the joints and detail on the surface, as well as all the wonderful detail that's on the top here, and perhaps some pinstriping for the knuckles. I don't know, I'll make it up as I go along, but I have been looking at plenty of reference pics, and there's some wonderful builds out there. Anyway, I'll come back when I have more for you. See you later. Okay, I've completed my facehugger. The paint job was done using the smearing technique with the oil colors. For a more detailed demonstration of that, please refer to my chest burster video, in which I use basically the same technique. The lighting in the office is kind of yellowish, but I've got him on display next to the alien poster, and as you can see on the inside, I chose to go with a skin reddish mucosa-like coloration. The rest I used a combination of the ochres and the yellow, which I smeared on everything. For the fingernails, I used a darker brown, which I just sort of smeared on so it looked like it was dirty. And then for the final touch, I hit it with the gloss, the clear coat, Nason clear coat, to give it that shiny look. And all in all, I'm pretty happy with the way it looks. Let me show you here. I got this little bar keeping it away from the walls so it poses nicely. Maybe if I turn it around. Okay. Anyway, that's my face hugger.